So we've exposed the need, and we've talked about the way it changes lives both in Uganda and for people here. So I want to bring up Steve Thomas, who is a friend and constituent of Children of Grace, to talk about the opportunity to meet some of these needs.
Before I begin, I want to take the opportunity to recognize somebody that's very special in Winnie's life. Michael built a house and changed that experience for her and her family, that connection. But there's Frank and Maxine Dilling were Winnie's child sponsors during all of this time. And I believe Mr. Dilling is with us. Yes, sir. Would you stand and let us just recognize you? In my professional life, I am inside and know intimately probably 100 to 150 nonprofits and ministries. It's what I live and what I do. I know the inside of the workings of ministries and charities. And I know an awful lot about the way the world works for nonprofits and how organizations stack up against each other. I came from Seattle today to substitute for Mike. I have been blessed to be attached to Children of Grace for several years, and when I have the opportunity, I am grateful to get to help any chance I get. When I heard Mike was sick and Marianne said, "Would you please come and do that?" I tried to say no, maybe like some of you have tried to say no, and I was not successful, so here I am. I need to tell you, though, there are 2, maybe 3 organizations that I would do this for, because this is my world is fundraising and marketing for nonprofits, and not just everybody would I come and give my stamp of approval, but I do for Children of Grace, because I know what you're about. My partner and wife and all, Chris, we have been amazed at what happens here at Children of Grace. So tonight you've heard stories of children helped, of children in need. You've heard and seen how children in Uganda live. You saw the pictures of what life is like in the village. Since 2001, donors to Children of Grace have helped 2,600 Ugandan orphans. Children have received education and school supplies, school uniforms, food, mentor, leadership, help in every way, including very important medical care. But most importantly, they've been loved. They've been shown that there's hope ahead. You need to know that Children of Grace is unique in that the children receive more than food and education. As you heard in Winnie's story, she received very important medical care and prescriptions. Much of Mike and Marianne's time is spent procuring and finding a way to get medical care for the kids. And that's not only time intensive, it's very expensive and is not covered by sponsorship. In every way, Children of Grace does their best to make sure that children have what they need to grow and thrive under very difficult circumstances. Again, as we've heard from others tonight, circumstances we can't really imagine. Children of Grace is their best chance to be productive adults and change their lives, their families' lives, their communities' lives, then hopefully their country. It isn't just the children that are changed. What I am struck by, and what I was struck by tonight, is how people who are attached to Children of Grace are changed. How those who've been to Uganda, who have been child sponsorships, those who have built buildings, those who have done things, they are changed. The children are changed. The country of Uganda is changed. But we are changed when we help them. Tonight, I'm unapologetic about the need. And so I'm going to ask you at your place, you have a card and an envelope, and I'd ask you just to put your hands on it and have it handy. Children of Grace is working with children the world would discard and abandon. Children of Grace is entering into a situation that can seem overwhelming. The numbers are astounding. The need is great. But as you saw on the faces of the children, and as you've seen in other photos, and as you've seen in the publications Children of Grace does, their lives are changed as we enter into their lives with what we have, our blessings. The cost of everything in Uganda is rising. In recent years, Mike and the team have dealt with 31% inflation. 31% inflation. This year it was better, but the dollar was devalued, so it sort of was worse at some time. Operating costs rise, the need continues to grow, even expenses associated with educating the older kids outruns the sponsorship expenses. So this is your time, this is my time. We need your help to provide for the children. Child sponsorship is the backbone of Children of Grace. But child sponsorship can't cover all the needs. And tonight the need, as Marianne has said and others have said, the need is to help beyond child sponsorship. I want you to consider giving more than sponsorship. The expenses and the needs are just so great. Tonight we'd ask you to consider a gift over and above any sponsorship giving. If we could see a picture. It is not about a country. It is not about a village. It is not about a family. It's about a boy or a girl in Uganda who has no hope, having the chance to live a life that's everything God might have dreamed them to be. So I'm going to ask you to consider giving an extraordinary gift in an extraordinary time for a child that can have an extraordinary future if we enter into this. Your gift will provide medical care. Your gift will provide school uniforms. Your gift will do a variety of things to close the gap so that these children can find hope and have a future. If you're like I did, and I came with kind of a number in mind of what I was going to give tonight, did you do that? The need is great. You heard tonight how Mr. Dowd has offered a $25,000 matching gift, so whatever gift you decided to come with is doubled if you will give it or pledge it tonight. What I'm going to be so bold to do is to ask you, though, to expand your gift and make it maybe 20% extra. Maybe add a zero to it. Maybe give a little bit extra because the need is so great. And the need is great not just in Uganda. The need is great in this room. Something changes in our hearts when we reach out beyond ourselves. And what I would say as someone who knows an awful lot about what happens when donors give, I would tell you, you will be changed if you decide tonight to do something extraordinary. It's being matched an extraordinary gift. The need is extraordinary. And so I'd ask you to consider that. The card is simple. You fill it out. Say, I'm giving this much tonight. I'm going to be a monthly partner. Or I'll be giving this much before the end of the year. And if you would fill it out, put your stack of hundreds or check or however you prefer to give this gift. If you'd like to give via credit card, at the registration table, you can transact your credit card there easily, securely. If you are going to give it a credit card, it would be great if you'd go ahead and give your name and address and information on this card as well. We're going to play music in just a moment while you make that decision, and as you do that, as you transact and fill that out, put whatever you choose to do in the envelope and give it to your table host. And I tell you, what you do will be blessed. The children in Uganda will be blessed. And it will be a marvelous thing you're doing.